Hey, what's up, YouTube, and welcome back to Morgellons discussion and microscopy videos. I'm your host, Jeremy Murphy, and today I just want to take a moment to give you a recap of what's been going on over the past couple of weeks. We've had a lot of things happening, things are moving, and they're new. So we're going to talk about that and more. If you haven't already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. You can like the video at the very end after you've seen it and have made your decision if you like it or not. But please also feel free to engage in conversation down below. I'm down there answering questions, and I think we're doing it still on time as usual. I know there are some comments from a few months ago. We'll get to those soon enough. All right, so I got Linux installed on Windows 11, which it wasn't too bad, but I don't like operating outside of a native environment. So I've got a little laptop Windows PC thing that I may put Linux on instead. And the only thing about that is that it's on Wi-Fi. It doesn't have a wired connection. So if I'm going to be doing a server operation, I want it to be wired hardware. And that's what I got my main desktop PC doing. But it seems like I'm having a lot of not compile errors, but like for example, log name. You know, there's the capital case log name and a lowercase log name. And they both do basically the same thing. They tell you who's logged in at the time. Well, capital log name was working, but lowercase log name wasn't working. So I had to create a symbolic link from lowercase log name to capital log name for the execution script to not crap out while it was pulling down Docker, which is part of the suite of the cryptocurrency to perform various functions. Basically, the whole reason we're setting up Linux on the virtual machine under Windows 11 is because we got to run a counterparty server. Ethermorg is based on counterparty technology, which basically takes Bitcoin and it allows you to create a derivative. Great stuff. If you go to CoinDaddy, look up CoinDaddy. That's a Jeremy over there also working on that project. That's how I was able to start Ethermorg and Morgellons coin a few years ago. Was by going to his website and registering them. It's a lot like registering a domain name at GoDaddy. It's a lot like that process, similar. All right, but we've got to have the XCP counterparty server running on a server machine so that when somebody goes Ethermorg tip Jeremy 500, then that Twitter bot is going to understand that command and issue 500 coins out of somebody's wallet, whoever's typing that command, into the wallet of the Twitter account that they are mentioning in that tweet. And so if that person doesn't have 500 in there, then the server's got to be able to read how much is in that person's wallet and let them know how much they're deficient to perform that transaction. And maybe even ask the person if they would like to send a lesser amount and potentially even give them recommendations on how much to send. I don't know. I mean, there's a lot we can do with it, but it's got to be up and it's got to be running to start with. And so I finally got Linux installed on the virtual machine, which was kind of a pain, but it's working now. All the software is updated on my computer, and virtualization is turned on in the BIOS, which helps virtual machines run a whole lot better. In case you didn't know. And so, yeah, we got I got the Ubuntu, which is okay. I mean, I prefer Debian. I'm more of a Debian kind of person. I started off when I was doing my Linux journey. I started off with what you call it, SUSE, SUSE Linux was actually, I think, my second distribution. I think the first one I got was Red Hat 5.2. I think Red Hat 5.2 was my first Linux, and then maybe SUSE 3 or 6, whichever one was out at the same time. And, whew, man, SUSE is a whole nother animal. But Ubuntu is based on Debian, so and they're well. The thing I've always liked about Ubuntu is that they got a whole lot of people working on it, and it seems to just like work, like in the way you want things to work. Debian does the same thing, but I don't know. Ubuntu seems more like the commercial flavor. I mean, I know the whole thing is it's anti-commercial, but it's like something you would buy on a store shelf. You'd see it sitting next to the Doritos or whatever. And so I put that on a virtual machine on this computer. And now I'm trying to get the daemons installed and the Dockers and then hopefully the counterparty server so that not hopefully, I mean, it's got to be done or this whole thing doesn't work because that counterparty server has to issue 10,000 Ethermorg every 3 months. And so that means you'll go on to the Morgellons.io website, the New Morgellons Movement website, and you're going to see that we have, right now it would be under 10,000. We have like 9,900 something Ethermorg available for sale. And those may be for sale for like $1 a piece, or something. Oh yeah, I got some exciting news about the organization. The organization is going to set the price, and that price is going to be set on our fundraising goals and realistic expectations about how much somebody would pay to be able to tip their friends Ethermorg in order to hold on to it for novelty's sake or to exchange it inside the Morgellons.io store for cool items like guitars signed by Randy Wymore, maybe the Blu-ray print signed by Pi Ware on the Skin Deep, and potentially even Dr. Ginger Savely's signature on the Morgellons Legitimization of a Disease book. All this and more is possible, but we've got to be able to have the counterparty serving, which would be right now on my Windows 11 PC with the Ubuntu virtual machine. And eventually that's going to be going to a virtual private server. And that's where it's going to be like $400 a year. Although people are telling me it's like a couple $100 a year now, which is great. Back in the day when we were doing private servers and full servers and it was like just crazy expensive. And there was no kind of liability against what could happen. Way back in the day, we set up a online mortgage continuing education course. And this was the first one ever in the state of Georgia. And we got them to the certifications board to approve it for continuing education. So all these mortgage brokers, they didn't even have to go into a classroom anymore. You remember, this was back in the mid 2000s. It was the early 2000s. Man, long time ago. But anyways, we set up this course. We got it approved. Damn, that was a long ass time ago. Man, balls. All right, but anyways, we got the course approved, and then the freaking, who was it? iPower. We had iPower for hosting. And the server got hacked. Somebody was sending out a bunch of BS emails. And they took the whole course down. I mean, they just completely deleted the server. All the people who had registered, we had to refund their money because they wouldn't let us put it back up. It's like, no, you were hacked and all that. And I was like, this is some craziness. So that's why we moved away from iPower and did some other things. It did InMotion for a while. Ended up with GoDaddy. I like GoDaddy. They're all right. They get things done. If you can talk to them, then they always get things done. I haven't had them not be able to accomplish something. They've got really smart people working over there at GoDaddy. And GoDaddy Hosting is who we utilize at the Web Doctor. So if you go to the webdoctor.us, that's my website, and the hosting that we provide our clients is branded branded GoDaddy hosting products, the webdoctor.us. And so that's probably what I'm going to go with to get my virtual private server set up, the webdoctor.us. I buy my own products. But first I got to get it set up on the computer here at the house. All right. So what's going on with the New Morgellons movement is that I was able to connect with an individual in the Morgellons community who has accomplished some great things, some really impressive scientific things. And so we're going to be revealing the board of directors on the Morgellons.io website soon enough. We're still in the search for someone to fulfill the treasurer role position. We have some people on standby and some great people who are going to be doing some very cool things with promotions on the EtherMorg project. So, but to register with the IRS, we need one more person, preferably with an accounting or bookkeeping background. You don't have to have Morgellons. If you do, that's cool, but pretty much for the treasurer specifically, we're looking for kind of an independent voice. Myself and the secretary are going to be Morgellons patients. So we'd like to have a third person with that outside perspective who can give us a view on some things we may not be paying attention to because of our direct involvement. We really want this to be a successful organization, and that takes being able to work with others, even when they disagree with you. That's especially important. And to also not try to control things. You know, the best way things happen is when they unfold naturally. And it's hard a lot of the times when you're trying to direct things. But, you know, you can direct things by just watching how things are going and then kind of moving along with it. And then things will happen. Okay? But you can't be standing there, you know, with the water coming in your face going, nah, this is craziness. That ain't going to work. You got to move with it, you know, adjust, maybe change your perspective. Changing the perspectives is something that helps immensely, especially when you're dealing with Morgellons, because beyond the craziness, there's also the sub-craziness. And the sub-craziness, it's easy to get burnt out on. And I'm talking, of course, about everybody's opinions and ideas that have already been debunked, disproven, and should be discarded, but are being regurgitated in these online forums where misinformation is allowed to persist. All right. But anyways, so one of the things we'd like to accomplish is research which shows us what are effective ways of controlling misinformation on Facebook. Because I don't know, I get the opinion right now that the way they're doing things, and I know they're aware of it too, it may have an opposite effect. People want to appreciate knowing that what they're saying is factual. But when they share something that isn't factual or that's questionable, they don't want to feel reprimanded or scolded or publicly humiliated for doing so. And so when I'm on Facebook or any social media and I'm talking with people who obviously have the wrong belief or a disproven idea, they have the wrong idea based on a disproven belief about Morgellons, I try to keep it concentrated on the issue and not attacking people directly. And the point there is that that person is not their disagreement of opinion with me. I'll tell you not recently, I mean, you guys see it all the time when I'm participating in online forum discussion. Somebody will lose it. They're just like, you know, you're an asshole and everything you're saying is pulled straight out of hell. And, you know, where that's coming from, though, is people disagreeing with what I'm saying, not necessarily disagreeing with me as an individual, as a human being, you know. Because typically when I'm in front of somebody face to face and we're having a conversation, typically we're able to reach a mutual understanding, which is my goal. I'd like to understand where this idea they have originated from and how it's being fostered. And so I think perhaps in that regard of our potential scientific research, I'd like to see if instead of saying, like for example, if we have Morgellons specific notifications on Facebook, right? Like, let's say somebody posts a Harold Kautzvella video. I would like for Facebook to put a notification on that video that while Harold is passionate about science, he has had no formal education that would make him a scientist. See, the thing is, and Harold doesn't put that. I don't think he puts that on videos people are making. I've seen him be clear that he's not a scientist. He doesn't work as a scientist, and he knows that, and most everybody else knows that. So that's good. I give him proper respect for being honest about that. He could have just kept going on like everything was nothing, but he did make a video and said, "Yeah, I don't work as a scientist, but I'm passionate about science." It's basically what he said. I don't think Harold's writing the descriptions. A lot of videos people make, they mistake him as a scientist. But I think it would be more effective for Facebook to say, although the description of this video says German scientist Harold Vella is not a scientist. He's passionate about science. I'm passionate about science, but I'm not a scientist. I'm a web developer. And that might help give people the context that what they're looking at isn't based on substantial findings, based on an investigative process, which would exclude potentials based on the lack of evidence that would substantiate them. I'm talking about being especially critical. That's one thing that people don't really understand. And this is why we get into a lot of these ad hominem attacks. People saying I'm an asshole, whatever. It's because there's no context that Harold Vella video is based on his own passions, but not on objective findings. It's what you call his subjective interpretation. Carnicom does the same thing. Carnicom, though, is different because he has had training to be a scientist, an environmental scientist. The difference is, though, in there where they are comparatively similar is that neither one of them will submit their ideas for independent review. Carnicom knows how to do it, but he won't do it. And he said on radio he won't do it, but he says it's because he doesn't trust the whole peer review process. I have a white paper that's peer reviewed. I think I've got more peer reviewed research out there. I'm sorry, more peer reviewed material because than Carnicom. My white paper for Ethermorg was reviewed by 4 people, and not just myself. I wasn't even one of the peer reviewers on there. I had to make changes based on their input, but that made it a stronger paper. And that's why I firmly believe that being able to go with the flow is the right way to go. All right. So, yes, one of the things we'd like to be able to accomplish is curbing the misinformation on Facebook and other online forums where it festers. Told you all about the secretary role, looking for a treasurer, and talking about one of the research. Oh yeah, moving Morgellons fibers is something that I feel like we could research. If there's a lot of people who would like to donate money to us, especially because we give cryptocurrency as a gift for that contribution, then that's one of the things that if we've got some extra money lying around, let's do it. Let's find out if Morgellons fibers are unwinding, if they're blowing in the breeze, if they have muscles and a skeleton, and they're getting ready to take over the world. Yeah, I mean, it's going to be at the bottom of the list, but it's something that I'm open to taking an objective look at. So, what's coming up next? I got a lot of stuff going on. Oh, Elden Ring is coming out, and I would like to do streaming of the Elden Ring at least 3 times a week, and that's going to be for probably 2 or 3 hours a day. Because I want to make money on streaming the Elden Ring. I'd like to have a channel with YouTube and then be able to move out of Mom's house here and be able to give Mom some money so she's doing well and not have to worry about nobody. Everybody's got money, food in the fridge. I'm able to go to the dentist twice a year. I'd like to do that by playing Elden Ring. I like Dark Souls games. I've played all of them. I haven't played Sekiro or Bloodborne, really. I played Bloodborne on PS Now for a little bit, but I didn't beat it or anything, and I haven't been into it for a while. I actually did emulate Demon Souls and upscaled on the resolution, and with the retextures, it's nice. But the PS3 version. But anyways, Elden Ring's coming out on Thursday, and so that's the game plan. Is I would like to be able to use my other channel, which I'm going to leave a link in the description below to try to build up a channel to supplement my income with the Elden Ring streaming. I think I can do it. You know, I've been streaming on Twitch a little bit here and there, get some funny moments every now and again. I'm not the most energetic guy, but I'd like to be able to see if we can do a successful streaming channel on Elden Ring. My channel's called The Discount Cyber Monkey, and so I'll leave a link in the description below. I think that's everything that's going on. Morgellons is not associated with the fungus. Most of us know this among us. But what do y'all think? Let me know. Leave a comment down below. Sorry I'm not pumping out the videos in a timely manner. I'm trying to concentrate on getting that Ethermorg set up, and I got to set up that counterparty server. Plus, I got some work going on. South Carolina State Senate finally passed the Compassionate Care Act, which is going to be the South Carolina Medical Marijuana Bill. We want to be able to get the medicine in the hands of people who desperately need it and keep it out of the hands of people who would not be responsible with it. Alcohol, having that readily available, I don't think is a good idea. I don't drink. I've quit drinking. I used to be a terrible alcoholic, and I don't do that no more. So I've been working. I work with an advocacy organization here in South Carolina, the South Carolina Compassionate Care Alliance, on this bill and trying to help them get it passed. So I got a lot of work coming in from them, and since all this is going on, I'll leave a link in the description below to that YouTube channel, the South Carolina Compassionate Care Alliance. I'm managing that channel as well, and so if you're in South Carolina, if you're interested about understanding the South Carolina Compassionate Care Act, check out that channel. Watch the debate as it's been occurring in the Senate. It's getting ready to happen, hopefully again in the House. We're going to be able to have another debate on this bill and get it passed and get some people relief. Hopefully get them off the... It's not a recreational bill, so it's not going to get a lot of people off alcohol, but getting people off alcohol I think would help a lot in regards to keeping people healthy, because, man, when I was drinking, I had them nasty sores all over my body. Now my skin, for the most part, is pretty clear, but I'm on a lot of antibiotics, too, so that Bactrim helps, man. That Bactrim helps a lot. I went off it for a few months, and when I went back on it, the shits on my back finally started clearing up. I mean, I may have clear skin in another, maybe year. Who knows? What do y'all think? Let me know. Leave a comment down below. If you like this video, hit that like and share this with your friends. Urge them to subscribe. Check out my other channel, The Discount Cyber Monkey. And everybody, stay easy. Have a great weekend. We'll see you soon.